gonna jump right into this. How'd you guys get into music? I understand it was probably two separate occasions,
Oh,
separately.
connected
That's what you would
telepathically.
think, but actually, we had similar backgrounds, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, we both
Yeah.
started on drums, right? You started on
Well, did we? No.
in school,
No,
right?
okay, in school, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both were in the drum line in high school. We're actually 10 years apart, but
Okay.
yeah, we both found this out about like when I think I met you a few years ago. No, not a few, more than a
Like a
few.
decade
A
ago, I
decade
think.
ago.
Yeah.
It's all the same. And then we're just, talking about like our background, and we realized we both played accordion. We both were in drumline, and there's some other similarity. I don't know. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, we have kind of similar stories, I think.
Yeah.
But I started out just playing piano. Like my dad is a musician, so he kind of got me into it and, you know, taught me a lot of Beatles songs and stuff like that. I took accordion lessons as a kid, and then I quit because my older brother told me that like only nerds play accordion or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I can't do that. And then I forgot what I did after that. And oh yeah, and then I picked it back up after high school because the band I was playing with, they wanted to do kind of like, some Balkan stuff. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll learn it again.
So,
That's
what
Yeah.
inspired the initial reach for the accordion before your brother shot you down, like the impressive older brother?
all right. This is a real story. The Where I grew up in Santa Clarita, California, there was a door-to-door accordion lesson salesperson that literally went all over the valley and just door to door and just saying to the parents, like, I'll teach your kid how to play accordion in 5 minutes. It was like a dare. And people were just like, what? Like, no. And then they bring in, they come in and they teach the kid like a really easy song or something like that. And then that's how they get customers. That's how they did it. And uh and so, I started out playing accordion as a kid, and then years later in high school, I meet a bunch of people that I find out randomly played accordion too. And I was like, what the fuck? How did you guys play accordion? They're like, well, my, a door-to-door accordion lesson salesperson came into my house. I'm like, what? Like they had, been victims of the same thing. So yeah, that's a true story.
That's an awesome story. Were they victims or were they gifted with such a hard lessons?
Yeah, it reminds me of the Weird Al movie. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I haven't got to see that yet. I don't have one of them
But I
road.
think it was actually a thing in LA, um, where, they had door-to-door accordion lesson sales people or,
I wonder if
like
they're still
accordion
doing
sales
that,
people.
you know?
Yeah, it
Like you're
seemed
gonna
to
be that
really
guy pretty
work.
soon, going
Yeah,
door to
it's
door
true.
and
I mean,
like,
it was obviously a successful business model. They sold a lot of lessons and stuff.
yeah.
So when you
Wow.
sell lessons, you sell accordions. Those accordions are expensive.
They
They're
are. My son wants to learn to play, but like the
get
cheapest
it.
one I can find is $150 at the pawn shop, you know?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's cheap. That's cheap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Uh,
says maybe you can start on one of them little hand ones from them French
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Start
can
out
get like the
small.
toy accordions.
Hmm.
They're like
Then
15
yeah.
bucks on Alibaba. Or you can start
Word,
with that.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I started on one of those. Did
Oh,
you know
really?
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's hear
tell
it.
me
Yeah.
about how you
To
got
learn. That's
started.
great.
So yeah, I don't know actually where I got that thing. Probably at a thrift store or something, but a toy accordion. And the first song that I ever recorded was with David, our
Oh,
buddy.
okay.
And I played that toy accordion and conga.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I guess I decided at some point I should probably get a bigger accordion because, it was about this big. And I went on eBay. I was about 16 and I bought my first accordion on eBay.
Wow.
But yeah, also had a call toward Balkan music at that age and started learning tunes mostly by ear, looking up YouTube stuff. And
Such a weird
yeah,
first instrument.
it
Just
is.
like, let's make the first instrument the hardest thing to play. Like it is. It's a hard
Yeah,
instrument.
it's difficult.
It looks it. It looks
People don't realize like the left side is it's not just more keys, it's their bass notes and chords, you know? And so it's like you're like two different band members with
Yeah.
just your left hand. So you're, it's a band in a box, really.
it.
It's a hard instrument, but anyway,
But it's yeah.
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job mastering it, guys.
Well, not,
Wouldn't say that
yeah,
for me
yeah.
at least.
We're,
But
we just know how to edit really well.
What was your first musical projects?
Um, for me, it's just I was in a few bands in middle school, like I don't know, like punk bands and stuff like that, and I didn't really know what I was into yet musically, and then everything kind of changed when I discovered Mr. Bungle, and it just like changed. I mean, it changed everything really. It changed the course of my life because I started to uh only listen to Mr. Bungle, which was a problem. And then like I liked bands that only sounded like Mr. Bungle because to me there was like nothing that could be, that experimental, that crazy, and like and it just checked all the boxes. And so I just kind of went down that road, and all the people I met had to like Mr. Bungle. Like if I was gonna be in a band with people, like we had to know who they were. We had, it was just this like cult, and it was kind of yeah. Looking back, it probably wasn't a good thing, but so I was in a lot of experimental bands in high school, and one of them is kind of like sort of like an stratosphere type of thing, but didn't last long. And then
Are you talking about Lotus Sphere?
yeah, I know I hate saying the name because it sounds so much like a stratosphere, like we copied them, but we didn't even know who they were yet. It was like we started off as a Doors cover band, if you could believe it. And then it just slowly merged into this like weird experimental band. And
So you joined a Doors cover band and were like, now we're playing Mr. Bungle. Is that what happened?
yeah, that's essentially what happened.
So you were part of a cult.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then after that, it was just, I think we, we went to a Mr. Bungle show and then hung out with Trey because I was an obsessed fan. I'd go to Bungle shows like hours before they even showed up. I'd get there early just to be able to watch the van pull in so that I could stalk the band members. And I remember I brought a little Casio keyboard with me, and I'd like learn like Mamishka Moskwas and stuff, and like look Trey, I learned how to play your song, and I'm like a little kid at this point, and and he's like, oh cool, but he was nice to us, and it was me and a few friends, and like and then he told us about Stratosphere, which made me quit everything and move up to Santa Cruz, and then that's when I kind of got into the scene.
Word, word.
That's yeah, that's kind of how it all started with me.
If you want, we can try to still be friends. But if you want more, well, girl, that just depends on
the way that time can blow our tears, the way the earth can start fears, the way.
I feel like sort of similar with you or no?
Sort of similar, but instead of playing in those bands, I was just a big fan of them.
You were like a little kid, right?
I was, yeah.
You were
I
a
think
baby.
I actually saw Adam play in the Stratosphere in Santa Cruz, and I was probably 15 or 16.
Jeez.
Yeah. And yeah, just a big Secret Chiefs fan, the Stratosphere, Mr. Bungle, that whole thing in high school. And yeah, played in some bands, but we didn't really play that style of music. It was a little bit softer, but definitely had some influence from the humorous aspects, I would say.
Word,
Yeah.
word. So, how did Good Enough for Grandpa start?
So Good Enough for Grandpa was, let's see, I was in a band in high school called Strawberrier with two buddies. And
Strawberry
Strawberrier, yeah, more
er.
strawberry.
Like a barrier of straw, or like the flavor is more berry than strawberry. Strawberry-er.
It's open to interpretation. But spelled like strawberry or more strawberry than others. Actually, that name came from I think preschool or elementary school, and one of my friends stuck some toothpicks in a strawberry and like as arms and legs. So it was like a little strawberry creature that we called Strawberrier.
I've never
Uh,
heard of this band. How come you never told me about that?
Strawberrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're legendary.
Damn.
Yeah, you got to check them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I will.
Uh, so yeah, I was in this band Strawberrier in high school, and we were three people, sometimes four or five people. Um, so one week, my grandpa was in town, and one of the members, one of the key members of our band in Strawberrier was out of town. So it was just me and one of the other members, David Allred, and my grandpa was in town and he wanted to hear some Strawberrier music. And so we said we can play some music. It's not going to be maybe as good as the Strawberrier stuff, but it's good enough for grandpa. And that was the formation.
So that's where the name came from. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
So it's good enough for grandpa. We played it for my grandpa. It was good enough for him. And then the two of us kept on making music and we recorded those albums.
That's awesome. So you had
The
no clue that
formation.
there was a book that came out in 1958 called Good Enough for Grandpa
I didn't know there was a book. No.
by Kurt Gerlich.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now I have to read it.
Yeah.
We'll have
Oh,
to-
I would
Billy does
recommend.
his research.
Yeah.
He probably knows your middle name. He
Yeah.
knows what kind of
What's
stuff
my
you
middle
know.
name?
COVID was fun, right?
COVID was a
That was a
great
good.
time.
That's how this actually got started.
Yeah.
The Snailforce is our pandemic project, really.
Yeah.
We just
Word.
yeah, because we were like, I think maybe it was our friend David that was like, oh, you guys should, maybe play together and like start a band or something. Made us think about it, and then
See,
and
I
then
was figuring it stemmed from that Ween cover that was up on the Good Enough for Grandpa YouTube. That was Freedom of 76, where you were playing the keyboards,
yeah. Oh, I was playing keyboards on that.
weren't you?
I don't know. That was a long
Probably.
time ago. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
when we first moved up to Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved up here and that was like shortly after I met you and
I
David.
think,
and-
yeah, that was probably the first musical thing
Yeah.
that we did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for he had
Back
just released the album Grandma's Not Impressed the year before that, and was
Yeah.
probably still heavily playing that.
Mhm.
a lot of Ween influence
Yeah.
in that. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I could hear it. I could hear it. I love it.
We saw Ween a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah,
Or was it?
we
It was
did.
last year, wasn't it? I don't know.
Last year at Edgefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, COVID sort of, I think a lot of bands, started these remote projects. Like I know High Castle Tell Orchestra did, and it was just a really good time for musicians to collaborate and just throw tracks, around and see who wants to play and what. And so I think we kind of took that opportunity. It's like, well, I have like this old composition that's kind of Balkan sounding. Like you play accordion, I play accordion. Do you have anything? And Gray's like, yeah, I have one too. And so like his was like really, it was like a MIDI file, just really raw. And I was like, I'm gonna, do this justice. And I arranged a lot of it, and just cleaned up some MIDI and kind of and then we went from there. We're like, why don't we make this, legit and just start like building it up. And then it was a really, really slow paced project. Um, but like literally took us like probably 2 years of just
Yeah.
like part time, every once in a while, just like, hey, you want to work on that thing again? Okay, you know, because yeah, it shouldn't take 2 years to like come up with two songs, but
That's the snail and the
yeah,
Snailforce.
Yeah, but
yeah,
there is some force behind that Snailforce.
yeah. Well, because we both like the same kind of music, I think we both have similar, you know, ideas and like we just want to like fill the empty spaces and make it as epic sounding as possible. Like we're both on that same wavelength, which is really unique in a collaborator, I think. So it's like we work well together in that sense because we're just like, I'll be like, yeah, I don't know what else to do with this. And then I'll give it to Greg and be like, oh, well, here. And then he just like wrote a bunch of weird stuff in the background. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think of that, and kind of just back and forth.
Yeah.
And then we started recording people, uh, found a violin player locally, found this guy, Josh in LA, who's a monster guitarist.
Josh Beavers, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's great. Um, had a bunch of friends that, you know, I I reached out to that even just played a little bit, like Chris Bogan from High Castle. He played flute, like only like 10 seconds of it, but he's a great flute player. I didn't even know that, because originally I was gonna ask him, if he wanted to play guitar, but
But he ripped up the flute. And
yeah, he
I'm
ripped up the
curious,
flute.
which flute part? Because there's multiple flute parts throughout it, and he only played one of them. Which one?
Yeah, it was the the
Yeah.
little trill,
I
the
think
right
there are
right
3 or 4
before.
measures before the mariachi
Yeah,
section
before the mariachi
of
section of
the
Gorgonzola.
Gorgonzola. The
Yeah, he did that
Yeah.
because we had already recorded flute with Andy Page, who's a monster player as well. I mean, he played all of the woodwinds, like all the sax parts,
Yeah.
clarinet, everything, and he did flute. But then, we just need a little bit more flute. It's like, okay, let's.
Yeah.
And
Because
then,
we had added that part after Andy recorded all the woodwinds.
yeah, and we already got Theo, my friend, my old bandmate. That's not on my discography, but I was actually in a band called Lefty's Head for many years during high school and after, and with Kevin Metz, who you might have heard of. He's in Gotta Shamisen. He was in a Stratosphere with me.
Yeah, yeah. You played
He's
percussion on his album in between your Stratosphere and Goddess Shaman album.
yeah, I guess I did. Um, God, I don't remember any of that. But yeah, Kevin is a monster guitarist, really, really good. And we were in a band years ago, and so Theo, there was like a bunch of Cal Arts, musicians, and I was like in high school at the time. I was the baby of the band. But Theo, the drummer, he could just play any odd time signature. That guy was, he we called him the human metronome. And so, we kept in touch with him and we got him on a Stratosphere even before I joined the band. He was on Quadrupus. He played a few tunes on that. I think King Crab Battle and something else. I forgot. But and then for this, I was like, why don't we, reach out to Theo? And he was happy to do it and just nailed it. And then we reached out to another drummer. We're like, oh, we need more percussion. We reached out to Sean Motley from Tubring, and he just like gave us a bunch of stuff, and it was like at that point, like, yeah, we had a lot of people who were willing to record on it, but it was already so full sounding that like some of the later contributors only played for like 10 seconds or so. That's all we could fit in there.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in those two epic songs.
Yeah, a lot of mixing, a lot of editing.
Yeah.
2 years,
Probably,
2 songs. So
yeah, probably 120, 130 tracks per
Per
tune, at
song.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
not excessive at all.
No, not at all.
It's not really, not in this day. I mean, you got like Jacob Collier doing like 400 tracks per tune, and like 100 tracks of just vocals. I don't know. I feel like 120 is like the norm, right?
It's average.
Yeah, it's average.
Word. Now I got to step my game up, man.
Yeah, yeah. You're not pro until you're at least reaching like the 80 track level.
I don't know if my computer can handle that many tracks at once.
The more tracks, the better.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just now getting started. I downloaded Cakewalk the other day.
oh, your PC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just now getting started. I got to figure out how to do all the drum tracks. So when you guys are talking like 120, that seems overwhelming to me.
Yeah,
It is kind of
it can be, yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
it's hard to mix when you have that many.
It's hard to keep organized too.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it's like, where was that, fourth violin track? And
Yeah.
you spend 15 minutes looking for it.
Oh,
And then it's
God.
like, if we
Yeah.
just organize this, then it'll make
Yeah,
the process a
it
lot quicker.
took until the very end when I was like, wait, maybe I should create like, like track folders.
Track folders and
And
labels.
yeah. And then like, we mixed a lot of it on our own before we had it like professionally mixed by Justin Phelps at the Hollowed Halls. You might know Justin Phelps. He's mixed everyone. I mean, he's done Bungle. He was like one of the engineers on California. So he's recorded he mixed Atomic Ape. I don't know who else. You were looking at all the records on the wall, right?
Yeah, it was an overwhelming number of records on his
Cake.
wall.
Cake was another band he mixed. But yeah, that guy's just done everything. So we're like, he seems like the right person for the job. And he just happened to be in Portland. So
It's pretty close. And he did an awesome job.
yeah. We're stoked.
That's awesome.
I'd be lying if I said it's all just fun and games. In fact, my kids are really dead. Our small house burned down in flames. It was an accident. I left the oven on. Ha ha ha. That was just a joke. I can keep on scrubbing on and loving on and finding ways to stop being so bored that I make silly songs like this and waste everybody's time. Like watching baseball or golf on TV or reading some consumer magazines. Organize a babysitter's go up. Oh, it's 9 o'clock.
Do you guys have any more tracks that you're currently got in mind, or you think you're just gonna ride these two for a little while?
I mean, we have other tunes that are kind of like bonus tunes.
We're sitting on a couple of bonus tracks.
Sitting on a few.
Yeah.
Might include them as as an extra download
like
code or something.
Like a raffle maybe.
A raffle, yeah.
You get the
Yeah, that's how it should be.
yeah.
Are you
one person gets to hear it?
Yeah.
Like you're the lucky winner.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question, Greg. Are you rapping on any of them like you did in the Stay-at-Home Dad song?
Not yet, but there are some ideas in the works for some rap tunes.
Yeah, the next Snailforce will be nothing like this. So it could be anything really.
Word, because that Stay-at-Home Dad song that hit pretty hard, yo.
Thanks. That's actually my dad in the track doing the dinosaur sounds and the monologue. So
that's awesome.
I gotta that tune again. I forgot about that tune.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah,
he did a great job. He really channeled his inner dad. That's good.
Yeah. So vegetable soup. Funny story about that track, vegetable soup. Right. You play some awesome accordion on that Igor track, but you are overshadowed by a chicken.
the chickens. Yeah.
That chicken solo, that really slaps, man.
I know. Because I heard some early versions of it, recording over it, but I think when I heard the final, I was just like, oh my God, this song is awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, the chicken really blew me.
I played that song for my two boys the other day, right? My oldest boy is really into dubstep, right? And I was like, well, you might dig this track then. And I
Yeah, yeah.
played it for him, and he was lost, like he didn't get it. And when the your accordion solo was going on, and he's just like, man, this is dragging. I'm not digging it, right? And
According
then
to fast enough.
and then the chicken solo kicked in, and he was just dumbfounded at that point and couldn't say anything, right? Like the
Yeah.
song ended, and he's just looking dumbfounded. And then my youngest boy pipes up with the best thing I ever heard. He says, "Man, that chicken was spitting some fire."
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought I would share that with you though, because that was
No, that's
that was a
awesome.
wonderful moment with my children. It's
Yeah, no, I'm stoked that that he, had me on because that was years ago. That was like, I don't know, I think I just played with Secret Chiefs, I went on tour with them or something, and I recorded that just like, who's Igor? Because I don't think he was that big, really.
no, he had only put out Nostril at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, and I knew him from like, I think he added me on Facebook from something else, and he was in another band that was cool, and and so I was like, oh, I guess he's got a solo
But
project. Like,
Worker.
yeah, it was just like, this will be cool, and then to find out like he just blew up like
Oh
years
yeah,
later.
especially
We saw
recently.
him, we saw him play
Yeah.
and talked to him afterwards. He was super nice, and we were telling him about Snailforce. He was really interested in it. So
Yeah, we should
and
send
he's
you.
seen it. He's actually seen.
Yeah,
I know he watched. I think the promo and something,
sweet.
but
Juif, je m'appelle, je suis sûr, tu le connais.
yeah,
Yeah, that dude's super cool. That's
yeah,
super
super
cool.
nice
Yeah,
guy.
he's really nice.
Yeah, I got really into that French scene there for a minute, like Vladimir Bozar and the
Yeah,
Shira
yeah,
Orchestra. That
yeah.
band is
Well,
fun.
I'm on one of those recordings too.
You
Uh,
are?
yeah,
Yeah, you're not crazy. You gotta put that up on
I
your.
I well, no, but it never got released.
Oh,
Because I remember doing some recording with them around the same time, and then like a year went by, and I was like, wait, I never heard about this tune. And I reached out to one of them. They're like, oh yeah, we kind of went through like I don't know, I think they kind of
dissolve.
changed band members or something. And with the change of band members, I think some songs, went away. And so I was like, damn it, those songs were cool. Like, would have been nice for other people to hear them, but
So there's some hidden bootleg
I mean, somewhere out there, I
Vladimir
don't know.
Bozar songs that I've yet to hear.
Yeah, yeah,
They
maybe
should do a raffle too,
they should.
Yeah,
I
probably.
know.
I'm gonna have to hunt those particular tracks down.
Yeah.
You know, they started off as a Frank Zappa cover band.
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. They started off as a Frank Zappa cover band and slowly started writing their own original music, which ended up sounding just like Mr. Bungle. Go figure.
It happens.
It's hard to avoid.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I stumbled across your SoundCloud. You were trying to compose some music film scores.
Oh yeah, I went to school for it.
Yeah,
Um,
tell me a
like
bit
two
about
years ago. I went to school for film scoring. Um, and I was gonna try to go that route. And I don't know, it's just really competitive, and you gotta, if you're gonna be like a film composer in LA, you have to spend at least 10, 15 years like living there and just making friends with directors and doing all that. It's such a long road. And I was like, because I had a kid at that point, so it was, you know, or I think I just had a kid, and it was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Well, you're trying. Maybe you should write music for Bollywood films. Maybe you're
Yeah,
selling it to the wrong market. That's the
I
second
know.
biggest
Yeah.
film market. I mean, the guy from Darth Vegas has been writing film scores for Australia and killing it
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah. I know. I mean, yeah, I used to listen
Hmm.
to them when they were Vicious Harry Mary.
Vicious Harry Mary, yeah.
Yeah, I got into that a long time ago. But that again, that was like I thought they were like a bungle related kind of, you know, music thing that I was like, okay, I can listen to that. But
Yeah, me too. I love that shit.
yeah, yeah.
Love that. Uh,
Yeah.
Brainwashing for the Dirty Minds is a great album.
Wake up in the morning and I open my eyes. I got something in my hand and one thing on my mind. Stumble to the desk and I start up the drive. It's hardcore anal sex and 10 more full size.
Guys, this is our first
This is our first
interview
official
ever.
Snailforce interview, so we're
Yeah,
We're
it's
stoked to
awesome.
have. Yeah.
I hope I'm doing a good job at it. I seem to be jumping all around, and you still have yet to admit to Foxy Cock internet porn.
Was that the name of the album?
That was the name of the song that you played the keyboard on.
Okay, so yeah, that if you want to know about that, Tim's brother, Doug Smollins, was in that band, and it was him and a guy, Josh, and they were kind of like, sort of like a Tenacious D kind of, band, and then I think it was right when I moved up to Santa Cruz, I just recorded on that, or maybe it was a little after that, but I recorded on a lot of projects up there. They were like mostly side projects, because I mean, there's so many side projects in this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. You seem to just jump in, like, record a song here and there, and then jump out with a lot of projects. Like, it was kind of confusing looking it up because I am not entirely sure how much of that Orange Tulip conspiracy that you appeared on. If you go
Oh, a lot
to
of it.
Yeah, if you go to the Discogs page, it only credits you for Bourbon Theater.
Oh, interesting.
But if you
Hmm.
go to your website, it says you played a lot more, and it's like, well, those instruments weren't played on Bourbon Theater. So
I'd have to hear the album again. I don't remember, but I know those like that whole album probably would have been like the next Stratosphere record because Jason had already written a lot of that stuff and some of it made it onto Palace of Mirrors. And so it kind of had a Palace of Mirrors kind of sound. But when we kind of broke up, I think he had a lot of that stuff ready. And like John Hooley had already played on it, I played on it. So I kind of look at that record as almost like an Stratosphere record in a way.
it
But
does really feel like a Stratosphere, and it is quite the jump away from the Atomic Ape, which you
yeah,
worked on next.
I did play on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but I had to
Both
I had to
releases
leave.
on that.
Yeah, I played a lot of accordion on that one. But that was when I lived in LA and then I had to move. So couldn't do much after that.
And
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
and hence the reason why you're not on what's his new one,
Oh, Red Fiction.
Red
Yeah,
Fiction.
yeah. He had to change the band name 3 times. I don't know why,
Do you have any insight on why he keeps changing the band
I
name?
don't know. I probably for maybe Zorn reasons. I think maybe he wanted to get on the Zydeco label. Maybe there was a requirement that the band
John
name
Zorn
change.
hated the name
Yeah,
Atomic
he was
Ape.
like, Jason, I'll let you in, but you gotta change the name. I won't tolerate the Atomic Ape.
Adam and I have gotten into fist fights
Yeah.
over this music.
Bloody fist fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Be
why your
trombone, should there not be trombone?
Yeah, and
I broke my
that why
nose.
your beard is so thick is to hide the bruises underneath,
To hide the bruises.
Yeah.
You
or
wouldn't
is
believe.
it your jawline is so strong you don't want to intimidate Adam?
It's a combination of both of those things.
Yeah. I like to think it's just hide the scars
It's-
because I've
it's-
won
yeah.
most of the fights.
Adam usually
Yeah.
wins. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm an advocate for trombone, and he's
I'm
anti-trombone.
anti-trombone. As soon as there's trombone, I go to
I don't know
fight
what
or
it is.
flight or freeze. I
Yeah.
generally freeze, and Adam just starts kicking me.
Yeah,
Don't
we probably
repeat
shouldn't
my
talk about it. I
interviews.
don't want
Oh.
him to get upset.
Yeah.
Because I might have interviewed the trombone player to less than Jake, and I don't want to set you off, man.
Leaving.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
dude, this interview's over. We're done.
And in the back is Tim Smullins on the stand-up bass. Behind me on percussion is Adam Spacey.
Like with that Kevin, you being percussionist. You forgot you were a percussionist on his album?
Ooh.
Man,
It
a
was
lot of
right
the
after
stuff, you wouldn't even
Stratosphere and right
you wouldn't even believe like how some of that stuff got started. Like the Fish Tank Ensemble, for instance. You know, that had that started off with like it was just an event. It was like, oh, there's this, this gypsy violin player from France who's total shredder. You guys got to come over and see him. And then next thing you know, it's like him and two other people, and then like me, Kevin, and Tim from a Stratosphere, and we're just like jamming along. And then it became a record, and there was already an accordion player, Aaron Seaman, who you might remember from Mr. Bungles, California. He played accordion on that. He had a warehouse up in Oakland called the Fish Tank, and so they named the band the Fish Tank Ensemble. But they already had an accordion player, so and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna play, guys. What am I gonna play?" And I played percussion a little, so I just kind of created a little like kit, out of a cajon and some cymbals and a snare, and then I ended up being the percussionist on that first album, which was weird to think back. Is like I don't think of myself as a drummer, but that was cool. But that's just kind of how a lot of this stuff goes. You're just like, who's around to like record this instrument? Oh, that guy? Okay. Oh, he doesn't really play this. Who cares? Just put him on, and then they get credit for.
Yeah, and who would have two accordion players in one band anyway?
I know that's just
Imbecile.
yeah, it's insane.
I didn't go over your cool stuff you had on your Bandcamp. The
What was it?
it was Galactic Gobbledygook and what is that?
Oh, Capriccio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an Is it really an A major? It sounds very
It is.
chromatic.
It is. I had to consult some theory friends of mine to be like, is this really an A
What key
major?
is this?
Because I wasn't positive, and
Yeah,
they were like, okay, no, it is. Yeah.
There's a lot of minor coming out with all the chromatics that you're using in that.
Yeah, there is a lot of minor, but it's technically an A major. I'm just glad he's avoided all of the controversies around Snailforce that,
Yeah.
those,
Yeah, we want to keep
I
the
was,
drama.
yeah, I was
out of it.
really worried you were going to bring up that stuff. And thank you for not
Yeah.
bringing it up because we want to keep that.
Well,
under
I
wraps.
mean, we all know that those things should not have been said or did. So why even get into it?
Yeah,
We're not going to talk about
we're
it.
not. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
We'll let people write books about it when we're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only when we're dead.
Which will be soon.
Because of the stuff and things that you did.
Yes.
Probably because as soon as this interview gets out there,
Yeah.
and
yeah. Now everyone's
stuff
going to be
we said.
Googling it. Snailforce conspiracy.
Oh my God.
Like, wait, I'm not getting any results.
And that's how we're going to go
Well, you're
viral.
gonna
Yeah.
when after your
Have to
death,
create
it's
something.
gonna be released in the lyrics of the next album,
Yes.
Yeah.
the posthumous Snailforce release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gives great detail.
Yeah, that's in fact that's all of our releases. We have like probably 50 records
We've
that
got
are,
50, about 50 records
yeah.
out right now.
Well, they're just they're in the closet and
Yeah.
they're gonna come out when we die. We have it
They're
set
also
up
under
so that,
different band names,
yeah,
like Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney's one, just to keep things simple.